You're walking along the street, or you're at a party, or else you're alone and then you suddenly dead. You're looking at someone nice, you suddenly realize that this could be the start of something better.
You're lunching at 21 and watching your diet, declining a shallot roast, accepting a fig. When out of the clear blue sky, it's suddenly guy and guy. Then this could be the start of something big. Hey, it is the start of something big, right? Episode 2. Where am I? 2. Didn't Batman do this? The Batman dance? So, 2. I love it. So I hope you loved the introduction again. You know, we were going to actually switch the song, but we decided, like, this is, like, so fitting, isn't it?
I love it.
All right, listen. Like last time. Oh, we could switch like this.
We could do the dance too.
So I hope everybody. You really got into it today.
I know. I don't know why.
This is a dancer. Seriously, he is.
That's because I have. Oh, we have a guest. Oh, look at you. He was motivating me to do well.
Yeah, but not for nothing. He just constantly has his mouth open. So how is everybody? Listen to the music still going.
I love it.
So this is episode 2 of STELIX in the Kitchen. So where you get cooking, this one, of course. You get me trying to cook, which makes people laugh. And you get me doing readings. The sort of issue I thought we might have is that I upgraded this morning before I had a full day of readings in my office today. And I did a full, thank you, Elix.
Yes.
You're so good with behind the scenes. And before I left, I upgraded StreamYard that I use, right?
Yes.
And now I cannot see the comments. I don't know. The entire screen is completely different. I see brand, but no banners or comments. So I know you guys are watching and coming on, but we can't see anybody, right? Like, and I can't play around with it because it's 7 o'clock and
we're here.
And I should have, but there was just like, again, by the time I got home in the damn bridge on Cape Cod, the Bourne Bridge is now started one lane both ways. So Elix, how long did it take me? Because my office is in New Bedford.
It's a disaster.
On the other side of the bridge. So it took me a long time. Then I had to get here and eat, and it's my mistake. I should have waited to upgrade this probably till tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Thank God he's got good looks on his side. That's what I keep saying.
But how are you guys? How is everybody? And as
we're gonna pretend they're here. Oh my God, Jenny! Oh, so
Linda,
good to
Michael,
see you. We love you.
And as Dina Martin would say, "Hi, Pallies. You have your sippy poos ready?"
Where's your sippy poos?
I don't have
today?
my. I'm so disoriented right now. I am so discombobulated. But as always, you know, last week, the first week, I talked about, you know, let's rap, and you were like, "What the hell's rapping?" He thought we were getting Christmas presents out, right?
No idea.
That's just chatting, right? Just
talking
and stuff. So I think I've got a really good subject today.
You do?
Yeah, well, like a sort of a broad thing.
I hope so, because if you can't read the comments, it's going to be hard to read people.
I know, and I wanted to read people, which unless
it's always next week.
There is next week, but miraculously, hopefully this will happen. But in any case, let me just say, what would you do? I think that's a good title for what I'm about to say. What would you do?
What would you do?
What would you do?
What would you do?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I would do. So he doesn't even know what I'm about to say.
As always.
Exactly. As always. So, like, I think I said last week, like 15 minutes before we started this, I said, "Oh, by the way, we're singing." He looked at me like, "We're what?"
Yeah.
So,
but I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I just go along with.
I put the lyrics, like you can't see it behind the phone. I blew up the words like
this is like a studio here. Yes.
And I put them there so that he could see the words.
The cue cards are back there.
All right, so
what would you do?
Yesterday, what would you do? Yesterday, I am in the kitchen, and it was still a beautiful day. And we had Eric coming over, right? Someone who was helping doing our fire alarms and whatnot and changing them. And we love Eric, right?
Shout out to Eric.
Right?
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
He's our guy.
He's a fireman, but he is so bright.
And our friend.
Yes, he
most
knows
importantly,
everything.
Yes.
So I'm going outside to put the cushions on the chairs, because at nighttime we put them in those huge bins, right? So they don't get like dew and wet. Now, it never happened to me. There's spiders outside, right? Of like any place. And so as I'm coming in to the door, which that way, right? I can't do it.
This is where the door is, Steven. We've only been here for 3 years.
Listen, if you try to do it in the camera.
Well, you just have to look. You don't look at the camera, you look at your surroundings. Oh my God, I'm telling you people, thank God he's got good looks on his side.
All right, so listen. So I'm coming back in, and right at the side of the sliding glass door, there is a pretty good size spider web. And as soon as I look at the spider web, there is this, I guess, gnat, but like a gnat.
What's that?
Like I don't know, like a spider that flies, sort of like, but it was a pretty gnat. I mean, I know that doesn't make any sense because gnats are not pretty, but it was like a handsome gnat. It wasn't like those ugly gnats. It was like nice and like sort of fluffy and sort of like was very light kind of gnat. But when I looked at him, all 8 legs were in the web, and he was doing this and trying to pull out. And I'm like, what is my responsibility? What do I do? Should I take him out? And the spider is looking at him like he's getting ready to eat him. And I could see both sides. As an attorney, I could see the spider's got to eat. Maybe the spider's got little babies. And then on the other side, I'm like, oh my God, this gnat has food for her kids, and she's got to go home. So what do you do? And I thought I had to make a quick decision.
Hold on, because Mother Nature, all of these years, now needs Steven the Medium to help her, figure it out. Just saying.
Do you want to know what I did, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
So she just got stuck in the web. All her legs were pulling, and she couldn't get out. So I helped her. So I ran in and I got a postcard, an envelope postcard that was on the counter. And I'm like, I'll separate her, so I don't want to ruin the web. So I got it, and I sort of pushed her, and she grabbed on to the postcard thing. And then, but the web, like part of the web came with her legs, right? Because she was stuck in it. So then when I went to the grill and I went to put the thing down so she could go, because I do not want that gnat near me because I'm petrified of bugs, right? So I'm trying to do this and she's not getting off. So finally I do this enough that the web or something goes on my hand and Miss Gnat is on my hand. And I'm like, ah! I was blowing, and finally I blew her off, and little Gnat flew away home. But it doesn't end there. So then I'm like,
now the spider is starving.
So then I look back at the spider. No, that's the great thing. It was a win-win. The spider had one of the gnat's legs. The gnat lost the leg. And now the gnat can afford to lose a leg because it's got 12. So one of the legs the spider was eating. I watched the spider. Spider was wrapping the leg. I'm like, it's like a chicken leg. Maybe the spider didn't have the whole meal, but the spider had a chicken leg. So everything worked out perfectly.
I don't know what goes on in that head, but I promise there's a whole lot of webs in there and a lot of naps going on there.
You know what I was just thinking? I think it's, of all the weeks to not see the comments, I think this is a good week. For me not to see these comments,
because
yes.
I'm
yes.
sure.
Because I'm sure everyone's like, Steven is crazy. Or if you're first coming on saying, what are these two guys about? They're going to be like, the guy in the white shirt, he's nuts. There's something wrong with him. Right?
So to my Puerto Rican viewers that I'm sure are watching us, that's when I say, él tiene la cabeza llena de pajaritos preñados. Yo no sé qué carajo tiene él en esa cabeza, pero yo sé que tiene un montón de pajaritos preñados. So, there you go. No need to translate that.
No, it's like Lucy and Ethel. I mean, Lucy and Ricky, rather. That's what it is. It's you're Ricky, I'm Lucy, okay. And you're speaking in Spanish, yes. And I don't know if he's yelling at me or if he's saying he loves me. I have no idea.
I love you,
right?
I love you. Everyone knows that. So my Puerto Ricans can translate for you.
So what
some other day?
What is going on with you?
So today, talking about Puerto Ricans.
No, overall before the food, what's
we
Pallies want to know.
Pallies want to know. Things are really good. We're very excited. We're working on this project. We're working on other projects. We are going to where we going? I forgot. Anyways, we're just doing
somewhere
really
over the
well.
rainbow.
We're doing really well, and life is really good. My business is doing
And
excellent.
your stomach?
My stomach is getting better. It's still not quite there, but I know I'm getting a lot of help from you guys, and I'm getting a lot of help from you know my husband here.
I'm doing Reiki every
Every night.
single night. I
Every
do
night.
Reiki on him, on his chakras, and on his tummy.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And by the way, the radio show is doing amazing. So if you're not listening to my radio show Fridays at 1,
shame on you.
You have to. WARA 1320. You can find us on the web. Listen from anywhere in the world. And we're switching, because.
Well, first of all, he does his show Get a Grip with Coach STELIX every Friday. But the last Friday of the month, I do my show through the Static. That's a mediumship show that people call in and read. But Friday, I'm having a root procedure.
A root procedure.
I'm thinking of the root canal. Way in the back of my tooth, I had a root canal and it broke, which is, I guess, common after many, many years. And my dentist said, we got to remove it because eventually it's going to start an infection. And I said, okay, so what's the options? He said, well, we can remove it and just leave it like that, or you can get an implant. And I'm like, well, if you leave it like that, it's going to be a hole. I'm going to have a hole in my mouth. And he started laughing. He was like, well, yeah, like there's going to be I'm like, no, I can't have a hole in my mouth. So I'm going to the surgeon.
I cannot have you toothless. That would not be good. That would not be a good idea.
I want to keep my teeth too.
Yes.
So I'm going to a surgeon to get Friday. It's only like 45 minutes, and they're going to remove it. And then I which I didn't realize is that then I go back to my regular dentist. Ironically, within 2 weeks, I'm going for my cleaning, and then he'll take I think I got to go back to the surgeon one more time. Then I go back, and then he puts the top of the implant, and then I'm all good again. So, but I
could have told that whole story in 1 minute, but he goes. I'm telling you, it's like these stories go on and on and on and on, and eventually we have our ending someday somehow.
So talk about.
So the bottom line is you're not doing the last Friday, we're not going to do the show. So the following week, I'm going back to my show because we're celebrating. We're going to have a big show. This is my 100th radio show episode live. So we're going to have a big show. So I love for all of you to join and to call. Maybe, who knows? And so then the following week, he will take over
through the Static.
And then the next month, we'll go back to the usual schedule. So that's what's going on.
And I used to for almost over 4 years. Well, over 4 years, I had my show every week on Wednesdays, and then 2 years after mine, you came on on Fridays. And then it was getting too much, and so then I left it last October. Look, I sound English. Lost October. And then I decided, like, you know what? I miss it, and maybe once a month I could come back. And Elix was nice enough to share his spot.
Give him, part of my, my Fridays, which is fine. We love it. We co-host anyway, so
yes, we always did that anyway. When I had my show,
fun.
He had his show. Yeah. I was the host, he was the co-host, and he's the host, and I'm the co-host. So, you just can't
it all works out.
The two of us.
We are two for the price of one.
That's exactly it.
So we want to tell people what we're doing today?
Yes.
So what we're doing today is actually something Steven suggested because this is something that he never had, and
as a kid.
In America, for breakfast, we often have cream of wheat.
Yes.
Or oatmeal.
Yes.
Or what other creams do you think the American people would eat?
I think oatmeal and cream of wheat is it.
Those probably
I'm probably missing some stuff, but
in Puerto Rico, and I know many of our Latin American friends have other creams. One of them is cream of corn, and that is something that Stephen had for the very first time. Actually, my mother made it, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." And I make my version of cream of corn because I like to add coconut milk. Because as many of you know, I love coconut. So it's a different version, and but it's something that you could eat morning, midday, night. I mean, sometimes we have it, for lunch. Sometimes we have it for dinner.
You should make it. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. You should just like get out of your comfort zone and watch what he makes because it's not that hard, right?
It's super.
I'm telling you,
super easy.
It is. It's my favorite. It's when if Elix says to me, "Do you want me to make cream corn for breakfast?"
He always says yes.
Yes. He doesn't even finish.
But sometimes you actually say, "Can you make that cream of corn again?"
Or for dinner.
Yes.
Yes. It is incredible.
And when we go to Puerto Rico,
Maison
never fails El Maison. Where they sell sandwiches in the morning, they have breakfast and they do their cream of corn, Harina de Maiz, and it's so delicious. So we always make a stop on the way to the beach, usually just to get, the Harina de Maiz cream of corn for Steven.
And when I first started going there, it was El Maison. And then something happened. They dropped the L, and now it's just Maison. It's like oil of Olay. When I was growing up with my mother, and she always told me two things: never smoke and moisturize every day. So I do that. I've never ever smoked. I moisturize every day. I'm 250 years old, so look how good I look. But my mom used to use my mom would use oil of Olay, and then at some point they dropped the
oil.
Oh yeah,
the oil.
Oi.
Oh, that's how you said it. Oil of Olay. Oi. So they dropped the oil, and they just kept the oil.
Olay.
So.
Yeah, don't say ole to him, being Puerto Rican. That will not go over well, right?
Yeah, because that's from a Spanish. I mean, yes, that's motherland for us, but it's sort of two different countries.
Yeah.
Know your nations. Yeah. Just saying.
I can only imagine. We will see the comments when this is done, right? But I can only imagine the comments.
I can only imagine
needs to be locked up.
Probably. And I would agree with all of you. Hi.
And by the way, to finish it off, Noxzema to clean the face.
Yes. And I've been doing that, and I'm slightly younger than him. I'm about 195 years old. So.
Yeah. Well, if I'm 200 and something, but my mother used to use Happy Face. Happy Face is not around anymore.
I never heard of that.
No, this is a long time ago. She loved it, but then they got rid of it. So it was always Noxzema and oil of Olay. And my mother's skin. My mom died 3 years ago this past February.
How old was your mom? 85? 89. And her skin was, it was unbelievable. Not one wrinkle to be found.
It was crazy. Yeah. She always looked that way. She always looked way, way younger than she was.
But when you're looking at an 89-year-old, that actually her skin is so porcelain-like. Yes. It was incredible.
Yes.
So,
no smoking and moisturizing. That's what it's all.
I smoked. I drank. I started at God only knows at the age of 12.
Yeah, but if you smoked when I met you, we would not be doing over 30 years.
I don't know about that.
There's no way.
He literally almost killed me when he met me by pushing me so hard. So I think
No, that would have been
a deal breaker.
That smoking and not liking animals would have been a deal breaker.
Well,
those two things.
They're not liking animals. You never had to worry about. So yes. Can we start?
Sure. So that was a good wrap, right?
All right.
Good wrap. So
a good wrap.
So let's go, and then we'll switch over. Even though, unless something happens and I can see people, I will do some readings, which I'm dying to do. But if not, at least I will give some info on readings. Look, he just goes into it, right? He's just starting. Look. Come on. I'm telling you, it's hard. Like when you're looking in here, I'm trying to poke his head, and there it is. There.
See, just look. Turn around. You'll see me here. All right. So I have.
Hold on.
Let's make sure that people can see me and see what I'm doing. So you may have to.
I'm fixing it.
Okay. Beautiful. Hey, there we are. So let me tell you first the ingredients that go into making this. Be careful.
Yeah, I got it.
Delicious dish. So because I make a variation, I start with evaporated milk. Okay, and this is carnation. You can use whatever evaporated milk. So it's 1 can of carnation, 1 can of coconut milk, and I use Goya, of course, but there's all kinds of coconut milk out there. I often, here's one rule of thumb. I often like to use ingredients that they don't have any sugar added, because when you use those ingredients, then you have control of how much sugar or you want or don't want. The more, if you already use something that it has added sugar, it's difficult to take it out. So you put sugar, you taste. If you like it sweeter, you put some more. If you like it the way it is, you keep it the way it is. So we have that already in a pot.
Your Puerto Ricans are going to be very happy you're making cream of
Yes. So I want to show people, because I don't think you can see the pot. So let me just show you, so I don't burn myself. So it's already here. You may want to, show them a little bit. See that? So in the pot, it's going to go 1 tablespoon of butter, and that's again unsweetened, unsalted butter, either unsalted.
It's hard for me to.
That's okay. Just keep it like so people can actually see the pot. We are to that. It's already sort of boiling. I don't want a hard boil. I actually want a soft. Actually, that's much better.
There we go,
I'll
baby.
come closer to you. So this is a half a cup of very fine cornmeal. By the way, this is the one that I use. Again, there's many brands in the market, so whatever you like, it's okay, but it has to be fine. Do not use coarse, because it's not gonna have the same consistency. So we're gonna dump that into the milk that's already. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. I don't want it to.
I've taught him everything.
How to make everything?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not been an easy job, but even the counterclockwise,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you taught me everything. I don't know what I would do without you. So this is already cooking. So I have here a 1/4 cup of sugar, and I'm gonna add that to this. I'm not gonna add it all, because again, I want to taste. I want to see how, if it's sweet enough, not sweet enough. I'll add some more, but I start with a 1/4 cup of sugar. Always have a little pinch of salt to balance the sweetness.
Seriously, are these precious?
Yeah.
These little things, and you know what? No, not.
So
Nutmeg?
yes, it is nutmeg. So to this, we're gonna also add a tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay. So it's already starting to smell
Smells
really
heavenly.
wonderful.
Smells
And
so good.
hopefully you see what this looks like, and the consistency is already beautiful, actually. And nutmeg. So I always get the real thing. This is the actually nut, and I like to grate it
The nut, baby.
as the flavor is nice and fresh. You don't need to use a lot of nutmeg, because nutmeg is
Seriously,
very potent, and if you use a lot, yes.
where in the market would you get like nutmeg?
In the spices section.
Would they come like this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In a jar?
Yes. Yes. And
Who knew?
so this is honestly, almost done. And then of course, for a little texture, I'm gonna add some unsweetened grated coconut. Again, this is the brand that I use. And again, notice it's unsweetened, because I don't want to add any extra sugar or salt. I'm gonna control that myself.
And you're sweet enough.
And we are sweet enough, that's for damn sure. So, and that's just to have a little texture in the cream. Again, this is not
Does
the
anybody put
traditional.
coconut? Right.
No. This is not traditional. This is my take. I like to play around, and this is, my take. Now, the last thing that I add, I don't like to add the vanilla early on in the process, because it loses its vanilla flavor. So I add that at the very end, and a teaspoon of vanilla is all that we need.
Now, are there levels of vanilla extract? Like, can you get cheap vanilla extract?
Well,
really good vanilla extract?
That's the real thing. There's imitation vanilla, and like I've said before, you know, there have been some testing on both, and the truth is that some of the imitation vanilla tastes just as good as the real vanilla. So I just like to use the real thing. And then at the very last, I'm gonna add another tablespoon of butter just to make it silky and rich. And we're gonna taste it in a minute, Stephen, because I think this is all done. That's all that you need. Look at this is how easy is this?
Simple.
It took what, 10 minutes?
Simple.
Yeah. So, and look at it. This is what it looks like, and I'm gonna be serving it very soon. But before I serve, like I said to you, Stephen, we are going to taste first. So I want you to taste.
This is the
best
part.
Can people see you? If it's hot enough, sweet enough.
Oh my God. And
see, it's sweet enough.
The coconut just is, because you've made this many times without coconut.
Mm-hmm. This does not need any more sugar. That's why I really prefer not to add all the sugar at first, because again, we're adding ingredients, we're adding layers, and that way you control the sweetness that you want. So,
and it just so happens I didn't have dessert today.
So this is gonna be your
perfect.
dessert. Yes.
Perfect.
Definitely gonna be your dessert.
Listen, if you guys that are watching were here, you'd be in ecstasy. This smells so good and tastes so incredible. And it's I cannot believe how quick it is.
Yes. And then once this is done, to top it off, you want to sprinkle some.
You should sprinkle it over.
I'm going to. So look at how cute that looks. And then you just want to sprinkle some sugar cinnamon on top. And what I would do is just to make it look even more prettier.
I feel pretty, just so pretty.
A little bit of the shredded unsweetened coconut. Look how pretty that looks. See that? And this is how easy this was. So, Stephen?
You used to say I looked pretty.
You. I still say it because
now he says
if I don't say it, he will tell me. How come you haven't told me I look pretty?
Just like I did.
So, and by the way, so whatever you don't eat, you can put it in the refrigerator and you could eat this cold. Sometimes if you cold, make it cold, you could cut it into squares, or you can put it in the microwave. That's what I will always do.
Look at there we go.
Yes. Do you like it?
Oh my God, it is
delicious. You're having issues with the camera angle today.
No, seriously, it's like when I come out of the mall. No matter how many times I've been to a mall, I go the wrong way and come out. I don't know what it is with directions with me, but this is superb. It just is. It's my favorite thing. And like Elix says, his mom used to make it all the time and was an incredible cook, and so was Elix. But this is so appropriate right now for dessert. And for the most part, I think you have it for breakfast. But
yeah, and you know what? It's a nod to mom, because like Steven said, she used to make this all the time, and and I made it. Sometimes I would make it for her, and she would love every time that I did that for her. So I'm making myself one or so.
It's amazing.
And
Elix, there's not that many ingredients either to get, right?
No. I mean, just like I said, cornmeal, the fine kind. This is the Goya kind, but you can get whatever you want. Unsweetened coconut flakes, if you want to do what I did, which is 1 can of carnation, condensed milk. Not condensed milk, evaporated milk. Big difference. 1 can of coconut milk. I prefer to get unsweetened coconut milk on, the evaporated milk is unsweetened. A tablespoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of butter, uh, cinnamon, and nutmeg, grated nutmeg. So
This looks like a little chestnut.
it is. It looks like it. Yeah. So, and yeah, I have to say this is delicious.
So that's it.
Steven, I love the crunch of the coconut.
So do I.
Mm-hmm. So I hope you try it. And Steven, it is like dessert. It's like having dessert. So
let's just come back over here.
mm-hmm.
And you know what? I can't believe how quick he did that. I honestly asked him, because that's one of the things that's concerning when he's making something, is how long it's going to take, unless he's already pre-made it and he can just pop it out. But this was like, he was like, this, Steven, this is like 10 minutes. So it's very easy. So
Eat that.
exactly. But let me just say, I still can't see comments. Your loved ones are here. Spirit's here. Today, as I mentioned earlier, I had a full day of readings. And one thing that has never happened to me, which was, Elix doesn't know this, was pretty wild. So I think it was my second reading or third reading, I can't remember, but this woman came in with her mom. The sweetest people. Then again, all the clients that come in are just so great. In any case, so the mom and daughter come in, and the daughter lost her dad, the mom lost her husband, right? So they were hell-bent on him coming through, and he didn't start right away. He didn't come in through right away. There was others that were coming through, but eventually he came through and pretty much said, these two would have left Steven and said, you stink if I didn't come through. So, and he did some amazing validations. So in the middle of the reading, I was talking about the daughter. And to make a long story short, in the reading comes up that she's pregnant. And as we're just chatting, I said, I didn't know, I couldn't tell how far along she was. So I said to her, I know the sex of the baby, which I always say when I do readings, right? And I don't tell them, but I just tell them, unless they really want to know. And even if they do, I always tell them to wait and email me the next day to make sure they want to know. But in any case, I found out she's pregnant, and she said to me, tell me. And I'm like, no. I said, you know what I'll do? I'll write it down. So I picked up my notebook so they couldn't see her and her mother. And I wrote down something that I have never done before. And it was just, I either write male or female, boy or girl, right? But I did something very different. And I'm like, oh my God, what does this mean? So at the end of the reading, or towards the end of the reading, I said something else about the baby. And she said, before my dad passed away, and he passed away this year. It was really recent. But before he passed away, she said he knew I was pregnant, and I asked him, what is the sex of the baby going to be? And he said, a girl. So when she was at the point to find out whether it was a girl or boy, she found out she was having a boy. And she said, Dad, at that point he passed away. Dad, you were wrong. You mixed it up. You made a mistake. And so I can't even tell you, I had goose pimples through my entire body. And I'm like, you're not going to believe what I wrote on that paper. Now, it was done. It was like done at the beginning of the reading. So I have to flip it up and find it. And I pick it up. And what her father made me write was girl, and then X'd it out. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Like, I was petrified. I'm thinking, what does that mean? Like, did something happen to the baby? I had absolutely no idea. What he was doing was giving me something ahead of time that he said it was a girl, and it wasn't. And they were blown away as I was. It was, wow. Yeah, it was, that was just one of the things. I mean, the readings were just crazy with everybody. It was really, really cool. Wow. And I had 2 gals from Rhode Island come in, and they were representing. So I said, if my husband saw you, I said, he always says that Rhode Islanders, the women are like Puerto Ricans, always
they were widows,
always dressed up. And these two came in, they looked amazing, really amazing. So, but it was a great time. But because I can't see comments, I'll say something to give like a little sort of tip that a lot of people don't know, and I teach this in my course.
What would you do?
And
what would you do?
We already did. What would you do? That was at the beginning of the show. Can you keep up?
Apparently I can't. I was too busy concentrating on my Harina de Maiz. Okay.
Oh, by the way, if you are interested in a reading, you can always go to Steve in the Medium and book a reading. But I actually, which I haven't done in a long time, I'm doing 2 virtual events, Zoom events. That's the maximum of 8 people, and every single person gets a reading. And I do a whisper and a note when I do the virtual groups. A whisper and a note, if you don't know what it is, it's that I meditate and I just ask the day I'm doing that group of 8 people, and it's maxed out at 8 people so that I can get everybody a reading and a good amount of reading too. I will meditate and say, out of these 8 people, somebody that's connected to them, dictate to me what you want me to write. So one of the 8 people has a note for them in addition to their reading. And many, many times, I got to be honest, the note hits more than one person. That's just the way spirit works. So you can go and find that on my website and just see what's going on. But that's a lot of fun. So, so where was I? So let me just tell you that a lot of people don't know that every single place you're in, every place you live, a house, an apartment, it does not matter. There's a portal. For a long period of time, when I found out I was a medium, which in the larger scheme was not that long ago. So I did my first reading, I think like 2015, which was like 1 person and 1 letter. That was the reading, right? It wasn't formal either. But in any case, I always thought that you had to be very, very connected to have a portal in your home. And a portal is, people also call it an angel door. It really is when your loved ones come to you, and they come to your house, your apartment, wherever you are, they will always use the same entryway. They don't just like, even though they're energy, they don't just like magically, just bing and pop and they're right there. They actually, when they're coming in, just like energy moves, they use the same portal all the time.
And the same door.
Yeah, and it's interchangeable with, a lot of people call it, like I said, an angel door. So you can find that also, whether your apartment's tiny or whether you've got a huge house, you can find it. One way you can find it is just by, if you've ever been like walking around your apartment or your house and you have felt like either a sort of a different feeling in a particular place, or the temperature feels like sometimes, not always, but there's been times it feels like it's warmer or colder. In our previous house, in our bedroom. Do you remember that? In the master bedroom? Mm-mm. Right in front of the mirror, there was always that, it was either warm or cold?
No.
So he's either drinking, or I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, we had a portal there, right? I think he is. Or if that doesn't happen, if that doesn't work, if you haven't experienced that, you can actually ask. You can, it's always great to do this before you go to sleep. Right before you go to bed, it's just take a couple of deep breaths in and just like breathe in, hold it, breathe out. You always breathe in your mouth, hold it, and then breathe out. Breathe in with your nose. Inhale with your nose, hold it, and then exhale with your mouth. And do it a couple of times and just get relaxed. And then pick one person in spirit, like your mom, your dad, your grandmother, grandfather, whomever it is, and tell them and ask them, listen, say it's Mom, I need help. I want to find out where you come in and out of the apartment or the house, where the portal is. And you may have to do that a couple of nights. She is inevitably going to show you something. She's either going to, have, I don't know, if you've got a dog, maybe the dog has an accident in a particular place the next day, hopefully not on a rug, or a cat, or something falls in the house or apartment, or there's just like, you notice a little feather in a particular place. They will, or your mom will do whatever she can to sort of point to the portal, which is pretty amazing. Why you want to know where the portal is that then once you figure that out or find out, you don't have to do this, but the energy is really big when you do it. So if you find, say it's in, I don't know, say it's in your living room, say it's in your bathroom, it's in a closet, it doesn't matter. Just get like, either a little portable chair, or if you just sit on the floor, wherever the portal is, and do a meditation. And the meditation can be, I just taught this, and I don't know if it was the advanced or the introductory class, that if anyone ever tells you you're not doing meditation right or you're doing it wrong, just
there's no such thing.
There is no such thing. No, you can breathe in for 2 minutes. You can breathe in for 30 seconds. It's a mini meditation. It's a meditation, right? Everyone does their own thing. So you don't, there's no, I got to do this for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't matter. But the great thing is, if you find that where that portal is, the energy is so much bigger, because you got to imagine, you're not only getting your mom, you're getting your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, your dog, your cat, your hamster, all coming in and out of that portal to come visit in. And depending if you're really connected, you have spirit coming in and out that you don't even know who they are. It's just that if you've got a lot of white light with you, you're like a very positive person, you've got just like really positive auras, spirit will come in like sort of like a safe haven and just hang, even though they don't know you. So a lot of times, that's one of the things I have to teach my students, is that when they're connecting and they get frustrated, like they know someone's there, but they can't figure out who it is. I said at the beginning stages, there's many times it happened to me, you never know who they are, because you don't know them. So it's almost impossible it is impossible to figure out. But if you find that portal, or even think you know where the portal is, just at one point, just go there and do like a little mini meditation and see what that feels like. And the most important thing about all of this, looking for the portal, looking for the angel door, meditating there, the nights doing like a little mini meditation, is get a journal, or a notebook. I think I said this last time. I mean, they're like, I think at Walmart, it was even less than $1 store. It was like 49 cents or something. And write stuff down, so that if you do it one night and you're asking, say again, using that example, you ask your mom to help you find the portal where she comes in and out. The next day, if anything that's a little different happens, just date it and write it down, because spirit is not, they're very smart. So if your mother knows you're asking and you got a journal, she may also have things to happen that you write down that have nothing to do with the portal, but have something to do with the message, that you may have to have a couple of days that you get different things, and then all of a sudden you can like sort of line them up and figure out what your mom was saying. So, which is kind of cool, right? But that's something that I would recommend for everybody, because it's really cool to find out, where your loved ones are coming in and out. And let me just clarify, because
you're gonna tell them where our portal is.
Yes, but I was just gonna say, I just heard a mom, whoever, I say I'm using it as an example, but someone obviously lost their mom here that's watching, and there's a mom that just said, but make sure the way you said it, the way your mom comes in and out, and believe me, I don't mean coming in and out that when she goes out, she's not with you. She's always with you. Spirit's always with you. It's just that if they're having like a bigger presence, or they want to, this is the week of an anniversary of death, or this is a birthday week or something, and they just want to hang more, that's when you'll see like more energy coming back and forth into the portal. So, but they do go back and forth. But I'm just saying, when they leave, it doesn't mean your mom's left. Part of her energy is still with you. So the second you say, I need you, Mom, is the second she's here, which is pretty cool. So we found our portal. I found the portal.
You found it
here in the house on Cape Cod, that in the back we have conservation land, and there's a walking trail, like 20 something acres of land. And so I used to always run on the canal in Cape Cod, but I decided one day, because I go into the woods all the time to meditate. There's a bench, there's a cranberry bog way at the end of the woods, and I said, I wonder if I could run here. And so I started once with you. Remember, I took you, and forget about it. That's all I do. I haven't been to the canal in how long?
This is a more challenging run.
It is.
Because it's
Up and down.
Up and down, and it's
And you have to
terrain.
balance too, because it's
Yeah.
not flat. Clearly, there's roots, there's rocks, so you have to be very aware of where you're running, so you don't trip or fall or something like that, which has happened to me a couple of times. But I think I'm pretty good now with like knowing the path and knowing where I have to be very careful and where.
Portal.
Huh? I'm getting to it.
Oh my God! See what I tell you, people.
I'm getting
He's
to.
going into the running, but this is about the portal.
So I told my students this in one of the classes. I don't remember which class, but I came back. I entered through the garage, and there's a couple of steps to get to the door, to get to the staircase to come to the kitchen. And so I'm usually in the garage. I hit those steps, and I just stretch my calves, back and forth, and I'm staring straight, and it's just a white wall, and there's nothing there, and I could see like if you ever watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from like 71, the original, yeah, it's like when they're walking down the hallway, and the people keep saying it keeps getting smaller, it just keeps moving and moving and moving. I saw like. It felt like if I went like this and touched the wall, my hand would go right through the wall, because it was like a time warp, like a kaleidoscope kind of deal that just kept moving and moving and moving. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, am I having a stroke? And I turned to the left, and nothing's moving. I turned to the right, nothing's moving, down, upward, nothing's moving except straight ahead of this wall. And it lasted like about 30 seconds, and then it just sort of slowly dissipated and then went back to the wall. So it's happened one other time, which I didn't even tell you, more recently, and I got my phone out and tried to video it, and you wouldn't. No, you couldn't see it on video. It didn't look anything different. But I always thought our portal was in our master bathroom.
Upstairs?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, are you my husband?
I don't know.
Seriously, is he my husband or not? Of 30 years? Like, where have you been?
I don't know.
How many times are we laying in bed?
Maybe this is your husband. Where have you been?
He's cute too.
Yeah.
When we're laying in bed watching TV, and all of a sudden you're like, "Who's here?" Because
yeah. Well, of course I know. I did, but they show up.
No, but they always all of a sudden, if I'm doing a reading the next day, sometimes, not always, but sometimes I'll just, like, we're watching TV and I look to the left where the hallway to the master bath is, and you see either a guy or a woman in spirit just sort of like slowly coming like out of the hallway, and I always have to say to them, no, you can't come. No, I need to sleep. You can't come tonight. Tomorrow, if you're for somebody, I'll be glad to give them messages. But they always turned around and went back into the master pathway. They always went in. So, but clearly they're coming through that way, and they must be just zipping right up like a fast elevator. Like,
I'm sure there is that.
Yes, I'm
they
sure.
are spirit after all. They don't
and
have to come up.
They are energy, right?
Exactly.
So it's all very, very good. So
yes.
And that's my story, and sticking to it. So,
but I wanted to also say that when you were talking about doing Reiki, and you're now doing Reiki, virtual Reiki, and a reading, last night when you were doing Reiki, and you talked to me about, you asked me the question about what happened when I was at Emerson, because you thought that's what you got through spirit, and he didn't remember or didn't know that's when I was at Emerson, that's when I found out I was adopted. And it was a big
the play, the Pirates.
Yeah. Well, because that's how you connected me.
Yeah, but you said that was very close to when you found out, right?
No, that was
that was one year in college. I had no idea when that happened.
Yeah.
But that's pretty amazing.
But I thought, to get Reiki and to also be able to get all of that.
Yeah, which is definitely very, very different than I started, and I just actually started doing it via Zoom. So, which makes sense, because as a Reiki master, and I'm sure some of you are already also Reiki masters or have some level of Reiki, that it's all you learn. I think the third and final stage before you become a master, you learn how to do through time and space. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing, right? Or like on my radio show, when people call up, I can't even see them. All I say is, what is your name? And I start doing a reading, right? So I have no idea who they are, where they come from, their background, nothing. But just hearing their voice, I can connect to their energy and start giving them a reading, and their loved ones start stepping forward with Reiki and a reading. I love that because I can do it in person in my office, but I can also, for people that are not local or just want it remotely. And the ones I've done remotely, people have been just seriously, I'm just so honored because they've been oring and eyeing about it, like how much they love it. And when you're getting Reiki done, I actually tell you the process before I even start doing Reiki, how I do Reiki. And then when I started, like with STELIX, I mean, it just, things come out because that's the whole point of balancing your chakras, right? Clearing. Yep. Exactly. Is that if there's things you're holding on to, so your loved ones in spirit, as I'm doing it, just step forward and just, who's Mike, who's that, blah, blah, blah. So it's really, it's really cool to get to do that virtually too. So what else?
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it?
That's all I got. I just, I'm visualizing everyone who's here that we can't see because you can't figure out.
Oh, look at this, Tanya. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Eva.
Hi.
Eva Milagros.
See.
Yes, Crooks
Hi,
is
Christine.
here. Yeah. Who else?
This is completely my fault that I should not have upgraded this and not have enough time to figure this out. I mean, I love the upgrade, and StreamYard is terrific because you get to pick, you can just do YouTube or you can do Facebook and YouTube. Clearly this is just a YouTube thing, but it's really, really cool to be able to do that because I think if I tried to do that just via myself, I think you need a certain amount of followers to be able to do that too. So, there's some restrictions that StreamYard sort of bypass. And like, how cool is it though when you want to do, many times when we do like lives before, like through the static, I always do YouTube and Facebook, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We're gonna get him like a pill or something.
I don't know. I need a drink.
We'll get him.
Maybe that's what I need, a drink. So
listen, you just had your cream of corn. That's
I know,
good.
I did, and I loved it.
So, and I am dying to find out at the beginning of this, starting of this show, about the pretty gnat. So I'm when I talk about
the pretty gnat that's probably walking around without
well, at least he's walking around or she's walking around. It's like when we were in New York. Remember we had the takeout, the leftovers that you said let's give to a homeless person.
Oh my God, you don't want to tell that story, Steve.
Well, we gave it to a homeless person.
Yeah. So we did give it to a homeless. It was a process because he was trying to determine who's homeless and who isn't. So.
But you listen. You want to give it to the person that really needs it, right? We didn't have to do that.
That's not what you said. That really looks homeless. I'm like, Steven, how do you what?
How do I live? How do I
Exactly.
live?
So,
I don't know. How do I live?
But we ended up giving it to somebody that was very.
That's
very
the point
grateful.
of the story.
Exactly.
Like Jerry Seinfeld says, "There's never any handsome homeless." Right? Yeah. If you watch Seinfeld, so you know that. So it's
living with him it really is an adventure every day. So, but this is true.
But listen, also, can you believe that we are approaching October?
I can. My birthday's around the corner, October 7th, so I'm very happy about that.
Happy birthday to you.
But I'm still, listen, every celebration, it's this happy and sadness because it's, I'm being without my mom for the first time in my birthday. It's, it so makes me sad also. So
I think it's the first time, birthdays, holidays.
Everything.
Yeah, that is.
I'm dreading every holiday. I'm dreading Christmas, and I know I have to get through it, but still, it makes me very sad. On my birthday, she always made it very special, for me. So it'll be a happy, sad celebration in a way.
Yeah, but you know what, STELIX? Every day we bring her up or her spirit up or talk about her, and every Sunday we would watch
Lawrence
Welk. We would record it and watch it go down there Sunday nights, and she could not wait because she loved it. And there was one character on there, Anacani, who was Mexican, so she would sing in Spanish.
And Connie was Consuelo is her name.
And we didn't know that until Consuelo died. We had no idea. And we found that out. but she would, in so many times, Anna Connie would be singing, like, because Lawrence Welk was like the 60s, 70s, 80s, like the low 80s, early 80s rather. I think it started like in the 50s, but in any case, so she's singing older songs. And how many times did your mother sing them?
All the time.
Yeah, and almost every song Anna Connie sang
She knew.
in Spanish, Consuelo would sing. So, which was really cool. And I think I actually have a couple of videos of just, sitting on the couch and just putting the video on Lawrence Welk and then moving it to her. But last night we watched a Lawrence Welk because the TV is still on an automatic recording on PBS. So we record Lawrence Welk. And, Lawrence Welk also is very meaningful to me because growing up, my father, every Saturday night at 7:00, Lawrence Welk was on TV. Mm-hmm. I remember that. There was nothing that was going to be on besides Lawrence Welk. So, and then all of a sudden from Rhode Island PBS, we get it. So how cool is that?
It's amazing. It's amazing. So, again, I know spiritually she's here, but physically she's not, and it makes, it's still hard to sort of deal.
Of course it is. It is. And everybody here, has been through it or will be through it. Just like, we're all going to go home at some point. So that's what this is all about, is living right now in the present. And that's all, when I do readings, it's all loved ones in spirit just talk about, is just enjoy right now. You're here for a reason. You're here to learn. You're here to find your passion, your purpose, follow your journey. And it goes so fast. But if you came here for a particular reason, why not try everything possible to get to that reason, right? Yeah. So, and find your purpose and your passion. So I promise next Sunday will have this. You'll be all set.
Okay.
We'll have the comments coming.
I hope you're still writing whatever, because we will go back and try to figure out how to.
No, of course, no. When it's done, I will. We'll be able to. I'll also. I'm not sure if I've ever done this, but I will. I'm sure I can respond to comments. So if I see comments or you ask questions,
sure we can.
I will. But I promise next Sunday I will definitely do readings, and I think it would be cool to bring somebody up too.
Maybe
I can do that on StreamYard and do a reading right here live. How was that?
As Oprah would say, amazing.
And what did you say? Oprah did? You get a car.
And you get a car. And you get a car. And you get a car.
And you think I'm nuts? I don't think so. So. That's just the way it is.
Doesn't compare.
It just went by so fast. And you know what I liked is that different things that you make either take up more of the hour or less of the hour. But, you went through all the ingredients and everyone can make that. And you guys have to let us know if you made it. My cousin and her daughter Holly and my niece
made the pastelillos de queso.
Yes. They made the quesitos.
Quesitos, yes.
And they said it was good too.
And
hi, Holly and Morgan.
Hi, Holly and Morgan. Next week, I already know the recipe is going to be apple butternut squash soup, which is one of my specialties. It's super delicious and super unique, and I make it my own also. So it's fall season, so you want to tune in to learn how to make that absolutely fabulous recipe. So I think that's it for now. Anything else? Are you just smiling?
Yeah, I look like one of those. Remember in Sears, you could go and get your glamour shots, and the women that had like the huge hair, like the 80s hair. Don't you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. What is that got to do with you?
I don't know. I was just like I was
looking at your hair.
No, no, I was just so stoic as I was just looking at the screen and just like sort of smiling and just thought that sort of looks like that. So.
That's what he does. He just looks at himself and he's like, wow, so handsome. Ooh, wow.
That's exactly what I do every single morning and every night. And you know something? That's what every single person should be doing. I'm glad that you brought that up. That's what Spirit tells me all the time.
Just look at yourself.
Exactly. And know how precious and how incredible every one of you are and your connections to Spirit. But you know what time it is?
It is time. I'm so glad we had this time. You're walking along the street, or you're at a party, or else you're alone and then you suddenly dig. You're looking at someone nice and then you realize that this could be the start of something big.
You're lunching at 21 and watching your diet, declining a Charlotte Russe, accepting a fig. When out of the clear blue sky, it's suddenly guy and guy, and this could be the start of something big. So we will see you next Sunday, 7 p.m. Oh, and by the way, hi Jillian. Jillian better be watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.